Crash victims is being laid to rest right now.
The emotional funeral service for him just ended.
Caitlin McCarthy live outside that service. And Caitlin, what did this man's loved ones say about him today?
Chris and Nicole, the loved ones of Ben Havitz, say he was deeply loved and devoted to his Jewish faith. Hundreds gathered here at Berkowitz-Kumin in Cleveland Heights for his funeral service this afternoon. Havitz died less than 24 hours ago in a plane crash. Through Jewish tradition, the deceased are laid to rest as soon as possible. His funeral service, which was live streamed, was incredibly emotional. He's remembered for his love for others, the way he helped anyone in need, and his devotion to his Jewish faith. Some of his loved ones spoke about that this afternoon. Take a listen.
My mind cannot encapsulate his big heart. The only thing bigger than his heart were his good deeds, and with each deed he grew bigger in spirituality.
He persevered in business, and he was very matzliach, but he literally saw business as a tool to help others. He never saw it as a way to amass a fortune for himself.
Ben, there's nothing I can say. Sweetheart and family, there's nothing I can say. Ben, I love you. I love you. I love you.
And Havitz will be buried this evening before sundown. And the other person who was on the plane with him, Boruch Taub, will be buried on Sunday. For now, reporting live in Cleveland Heights, Caitlin McCarthy, 19 News.
Well, we have the flight recordings from the final moments before that plane went down. The pilot telling nearby air traffic controllers that there was trouble, but he seemed to not be in a panic. Dan DeRosa is here with more on how just close that plane was to making an emergency landing. Dan.
And that's what's heartbreaking about this. They knew there was a problem when they took off from JFK, which is, of course, in Queens, New York. It's by the time they get up to Westchester County that they knew that this was more than just an oil pressure problem. Here is Westchester County Airport. This is who they start communicating with. They were off here a few miles when they determined that they start losing altitude. And you're going to hear the calmness in the pilot's voice, Baruch Taub. They make a turn to come back to the airport to try and come back and make an emergency landing. Here's the end of the runway that they were shooting for, and they crash right here. I mean, it was less than a mile away, but this doesn't do it justice. Take a look at the video at just how heavily wooded. You see the airport there at the bottom of your screen. There's a plane taking off, and this is the news helicopter going to zoom in. They just lost too much altitude too quickly and clipped those trees. I want to warn you, you're about to hear the final moments. It is tough to listen to, but listen to how calm the pilot tried to be.
I am going to keep you climbing to 8 in about 10 to 15 miles.
We're not getting the performance we're expecting, and I'm not certain why.
So Westchester County Airport's right off your right wing if you want to land and check it out. So are you declaring an emergency?
Not at this time.
So when you can, make a right turn heading 340. Looks like I see you doing it now.
I am declaring an emergency. Our oil pressure is dropping.
Do you have engine power right now? Are you able to maintain altitude?
No, the engine is overriding right now. Mayday, 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 mayday.
Just so sad to hear that and to see how close they were to making it. Even if they had gotten over the water of Rye Lake, it would have been possible to survive. But when they hit that heavily wooded area, it was fatal. The interesting part about this is where the plane is located. This is the closest road that first responders could get to. It took them 30 minutes to use GPS and pinging their cell phones. It was a 30-minute hike through the woods just to get to the wreckage. Just incredibly sad. Dan DeRosa, 19 News.
All right, Dan, thanks a lot. 19 News with continuing coverage on this plane crash tragedy. Everywhere at 5, we'll look at the troubled history of the company that owns that plane.
Tracking the